In this video, we'll be discussing and demonstrating how to use field activities in crop season inside of FieldAgent Web. They're used to be able to monitor and track your activity throughout the season, and then as we get towards the end of the season, it allows us to work through a predictive yield analysis based on a kernel count. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how to set it up, and then we will talk through the various different activities that one can go in there, and then we will quickly talk about the kernel count as we come to the end of the year. So the first thing you'll do is launch FieldAgent Web, and you'll go to the field in question. And I have my field up already to make it easier. And down here at the bottom where it says Field Activities, there is a plus sign. So each year you would start a new activity, or each growing season you would start a new activity. So if you have 2 growing seasons a year, obviously this can support that. So or if you just have the one. So we're going to click on the plus sign to start a new growing season. And I want to actually create a whole new season. So I'm going to go to this Add Field Activity and Add Crop Season. And it's going to want me to fill in some information. So a start date. Now the start date can be when you planted, or if you did any preseason activity like laying down fertilizer or something like that. That certainly could be your start date also. I'm just going to put a start date in here for tomorrow. And then our end date. I know the crop that I have has a 96-day maturity range, so I'll just go ahead and calculate that out. I should put it about here. And then my crop type, I'm going to grow corn, and I can certainly give it, I have to give it a name. So let's call it Spring Training 2022. And then I can also start with an activity at the same time. So I'll go ahead and start with planting. And then here I can put in when I did my planting, which is tomorrow, my seed rate, and how many seeds per acre am I putting down. So I'm planting corn, so I'll go with 34,000. And then I changed it to seeds per acre. The number of acres, which is going to be defaulted based on the bounding box of the field boundary. So if it's going to be less than that, you'll need to make some changes to this portion right here. Otherwise, you can just leave it well enough alone. If you want to document the seed variety, you certainly can. We do need to have a row spacing for stand count information and tassel count information later on in the season. So I'm going to put in my row spacing of 30 inches. And if I want to put in maturity group, I certainly can document that information too. I'm going to leave it just with the very basics here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on submit. So I've created a new field activity for the season inside of FieldAgent Web. Now it does a couple of things besides just let me document when I planted or when I irrigated or did a kernel count. When I turn on field activities, it turns on the notifications for FieldAgent Web. These notifications go anywhere from disease, growth stage, NDVI changes, and then to weather information. So you'll get this throughout the season. The disease notification is based on predictive conditions within the field, where a disease might be ripe for being present. It doesn't mean that that disease is present. It just means that it's ripe for it to happen and something for you to keep an eye out for. You can turn these on or off too. So if you don't want to get a notification on something, you certainly can turn off the notification in any one of these. If you don't complete the harvest at the end of the season in field activities, you'll still get the notifications because it doesn't know that you completed harvest. So something just to kind of keep in mind. And I'll show you how that works here. We're going to go back to FieldAgent Web. So we're going back into Randy's place. And so we've turned on notifications. So as the season comes along, I will get notifications right here. I will also receive notifications via email so that I know that it's, something's taking place if I haven't had a chance to log into FieldAgent that day. Now, as the season moves along, I can document different activities in my field.
I can record kernel and irrigation activities. Let's go through the kernel activity into FieldAgent for predictive yielding. And so we're going to use a different field for that. So we're going to go to this field, and let's just zoom in here. We can see a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my kernel count data into FieldAgent Web here. And how I do that is I start with my field activities and I click on the plus sign. Then I choose what activity I want to put in. Here I'm going to choose kernel count. And then I can select a date here, so we'll just put a date in here for again, all this information that I'm putting in is for training purposes. None of it is to be taken as accurate information as far as what they're actually putting in here. So, and then I select a date, and then I go ahead and I put in my kernels and my rows. So so how we do this is the number of kernels I have. Let's say I have 16 here, and then I have 25 here. I add another one. Let's say that I got 17 and 26, and let's say 18 and 25 again. And I continue to add that in. I can put up to 150 different samples of kernel count information inside of FieldAgent Web. And when I'm done, I simply click on Submit. And so now that I have that information inside of FieldAgent Web, I can go back and I can look at this information. I can look at my predictive yield information inside of FieldAgent Web. So let's go into our map layers for the tassel count here. And I can go ahead and select my predictive yield activity right here by date, and it'll tell me the number of bushels per acre that I'm going to have as a predictive yield estimate for the season. If you have any questions about using FieldAgent Web and field activities, please feel free to reach out to us at support@sentera.com, or you can give us a call at 612-204-2000, or feel free to go out to Sentera.com and click on support.